On our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
Every day you're walking by and I can see how you shine. Here I am alone with nothing but a dream that you are my life. Just exactly what I'll do, I don't know, baby, but I gotta find a way to breathe. Tell me what I gotta do to get to your house. Tell me where I gotta go and make to be with you. Tell me what I gotta say and make to speak to your heart. Tell me what I need to know tonight.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
The Audio Genius.
Get in on the conversation with Rufus Williams and the Morning Show at 591-1690. We are the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Good morning. We are here and we are pleased. It is the 17th of March. Finally, Election Day is here. We've been waiting for this since November of 2024. And it's here. I am Rufus Williams. It's the Rufus Williams Show. Thrilled, obviously delighted, just excited to be here with you. And thank you so much for waking up with Rufus. The team's all here. Annette, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. It's cold, Rufus. Did
Baby,
you realize how cold it was when you went
outside? Yes, I did.
Unbelievably cold. It's going to be sunny today too, but apparently the National Weather Service says it's just for decorations because it's not going to affect this weather at all. It's going to be cold all day.
It's cold, but it's going to get warmer, right? It's going to get warmer tomorrow. So they say.
Yeah, tomorrow, but today it's winter-like cold today. I mean, it's kind of hand freezing, bone chilling. Don't be outside too long, cold. And I'm thinking about people going out to vote this morning. It's pretty chilly, so bundle up. And luckily, most of the polling places are in, schools, churches, libraries. So there's not going to be those long lines where people are going to be standing outside. So hopefully they will be indoors, but it's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's that, as she said, don't be outside too long, cold. Titus, what's happening?
Man, my hands are still cold. I've been here for 2 hours.
I started to park down where I park and walk over about 4 blocks. I sat there for a minute. I drove and parked in the lot.
Smart man.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll just deal with it. I got meetings this morning. And so I was just trying to register what makes sense for me to do. I don't know what makes sense, but I parked in the lot. I started out warm. I got in and all is good. I can't help but notice neither you nor Nat are wearing any green today.
I don't own anything green anymore, which is terrible.
You don't own anything green?
No, everything that I owned was old and I threw it away. Not throw it away. I gave it to Goodwill because I couldn't use it anymore. So, yeah, I don't have anything green anymore. I got to definitely update my closet.
Yeah, I've got to believe all the people who are out celebrating St. Patrick's Day on Saturday, they're probably still hungover based on what I saw. I saw folks out. I think I first got out at 10 o'clock in the morning and they were moving. They were out. There were groups and gaggles of people. I saw them again later the day. And then I don't know why I was out late in the evening, but I was. And I saw them staggering.
But you know what, Rufus, that your point to that is that because we had all the parades over the weekend, people kind of associated the weekend with St. Patrick's Day and have moved on. So it's just kind of odd that today is actually the date of St. Patrick's Day.
Today is actually the date. You know, the Mayor Daley, has a St. Patrick's Day party every year at Gibson's. Saw pictures from there. He looks pretty much the same, except all his hair is white. But yeah, folks were out partying big time on Saturday. It was a party, and then it was just so funny watching them later just stumbling down the street, just stumbling through. I recognized last night why I didn't recall seeing some parts of the Oscars, because I didn't see them. I had a meeting on Sunday evening. I had a meeting that started at 6:30.
That makes sense.
And so when I finished the meeting, I went to watch the Oscars with my wife, and it's like, all these things people are talking about, seems like that makes sense. How did I miss them? And then last night when I sat down, I'm like, oh yeah, I had a meeting last night. So that's how I missed them. So I have to go back and recapture. And some of them, I did have my iPad. I had my iPad on next to me. So I did see some pieces. I saw early on came the results of the Best Supporting Actress. And so I knew that Tiana Taylor did not win that. But some of the other acts, I must have been doing what I was supposed to do, which was paying attention to my meeting. And so I missed some of it. And when I saw it on the Entertainment Tonight last night, I'm like, oh, I missed all that. I just missed the whole thing. Today is an unusual day. We've got a little time to talk. And that has happened probably not since, I don't know, September.
I was just thinking that.
It might have been September. So people have been, we'll kind of see how today goes. We got some things that are recorded that we'll play. Khomeini will certainly be here toward the end of the show. And the rest of it, we're going to kind of play by ear. So 773-591-1690, give us a call. Let's chat. It is election day. We've got phenomenal coverage coming up this evening, which Annette will tell us about, because she's organizing us to do all of this. So we'll talk about that, tell you about the elections that are there. If you have not yet voted, make certain that you do. If you were intending to mail in your vote, it's kind of crazy. They're telling you what the places are to drop off your mail-in vote. But the places that you drop off your mail-in vote are the places where you vote. So just vote. Just go. If you haven't done it, go to the polls today. Get that done. We'll walk through what some of the races are. There was also some controversy yesterday around a certain endorsement. And Yusef Jackson put out a letter last evening, which I will share about that endorsement. It's just, welcome to Chicago.
Yep.
It's elections. We'll be back right after this.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Every week, there are names we speak in whispers, faces frozen in time, stories that end with no justice. I am Cleopatra Draper, host of The Cleopatra Show, and I'm not letting them be forgotten. Help Find My Killer is where we revisit the cold cases of Black men, women, and children whose lives were stolen. Cases where killers were never brought to justice. Every Thursday, we'll hear from families who are still grieving, investigators who are still searching, and a community that refuses to give up hope. Because silence protects the guilty, and we will not be silent. Help Find My Killer every Thursday on The Cleopatra Show, exclusively on WVON 1690 AM.
Find My Killer Thursdays on The Cleopatra Show. Let us help you find justice for your loved one. Email executive producer Sonia Walls at sonia@wvon.com. That's SUNYA@WVON.com.
This year makes your health and your family's health a priority by visiting Chicago Department of Public Health clinics at no cost. CDPH immunization clinics provide vaccines for children 0 through 18 years of age whose parents or guardians are unable to pay. This includes vaccines for flu, COVID-19, mpox, and measles, mumps, and rubella. Our mental health centers offer care that provides support for emotional, traumatic, or behavioral difficulties. All mental health centers provide services for adults, children, and adolescents, including intake or screening, individual therapy, group therapy, case management, and medication management. And if you prefer to stay home, we also offer virtual therapy. You can also take care of your sexual health with confidential testing and treatment for sexual transmitted infections at our specialized clinics. Finally, our WIC clinics provide nutrition support, breastfeeding assistance, and guidance on feeding your children. Best of all, these services are completely free, no matter your immigration status or whether you have health insurance. Visit chicago.gov/health services to find your nearest clinic to meet your needs. Your health and your family's health deserve care.
This is Congressman Danny Davis saying, don't fall for the okie doke. One mistake on your income tax does not make you a corrupt politician. Charges made, charges dropped. I know LaShawn Ford. He's a good father, a reliable public servant who represents the people and not the PACs. He is known by us. We know him. He knows us. He lives among us, visit our schools, eat at our restaurants. 19 years in the state legislature, protecting Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SNAP, ex-offenders, and all the rest. The crypto people don't want LaShawn in Washington because they know that he will represent us and not them. Let's send our representative to Washington, LaShawn K. Ford, Punch 31. Paid for by Danny K. and Dr. Vera G. Davis.
This report is sponsored by WeatherBug. Get the fastest local alerts and accurate 24/7 forecasts with WeatherBug. It's easy to use and provide real-time customizable alerts so the weather never takes you by surprise. Plan every day with confidence. Download the free WeatherBug app from the App Store now.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Lots going on early this morning. Right now, we are seeing a stall on the inbound side of the Ryan, blocking the left center lane right there at 95th Street. That's causing delays along the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial as you make your way in. Your complete travel time along the Ryan is 25 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. So far, so good along DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Things are filling up slowly on the northbound end. We're looking at just about a 16-minute trip from 67th Street to Jackson, from Hollywood to Monroe, heavy right around Lawrence. 45 minutes for starters on the Stevenson in from I-355 to DuSable Drive. On the outbound side, you do want to look out for, it looks like there's a crash. It is off to the side there at Central, but not affecting your travel time. The Eisenhower in from Thorndale to the Burns Circle, 40 minutes outbound, just fine. The Kennedy off to a 50-minute start from O'Hare to downtown. Also, getting to the airport will take you just about 50 minutes. You want to factor in an accident. It's on the ramp right there at Canfield. Taking a look at our weather, it's on the cold side today. Not chilly, not cool, but cold. Temperatures right now starting out in the teens. The National Weather Service says we're looking at a daytime high of only 25. Right now, it's 14 at Midway, 14 in Chatham, and 14 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. Undoubtedly, you've heard the scuttlebutt around a particular endorsement for Senate in this election taking place today. There was a statement that was put out by Rainbow Push Coalition, and a statement on behalf of President Yusef D. Jackson. Over the past 48 hours, there has been a lot of commotion about who my father, Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., endorsed before his passing just over a month ago. Among my father's proudest achievements was expanding civic participation and electing leaders who protected our democracy and advanced justice. Earlier this year, despite ongoing challenges with mobility and his declining health, Reverend Jackson began the process of reviewing candidates and identifying those he intended to support in the upcoming primary election. However, he did not live long enough to finish the process. Out of respect for my father, we decided not to publicly release his intended selections given the process had not been finalized. However, Due to an internal miscommunication, a draft sample ballot was released by a staff person who did not have authorization. This unintentional error has set off unforeseen controversy, one that has unfortunately revolved around one candidate in particular. I want to be very clear. We did not withdraw or retract our endorsement of any one candidate. Instead, we made clear that the document shared this weekend was not final, and out of respect for my late father and in our family's time of bereavement, we would not be confirming nor issuing political endorsements in this cycle. I am disheartened that the topic of today's political chatter has been focused on this instead of the issues that matter to everyday voters. Issues like affordability, health care, quality education, justice, and equal rights. Those are the issues our family has spent decades fighting for, and those are the issues voters should keep top of mind when they cast their ballots. Please respect this as my final comments on this matter, and please, in my father's memory, vote. Our ancestors put their lives on the line so that we could participate in our democracy, to elect leaders who share our values and who will faithfully serve the people. Yusuf D. Jackson. So there you have it. Take from it what you will. No endorsement had officially been made, and whatever was out was unauthorized. So undoubtedly, it will not cure the controversy. The horse is out of the barn, the cat is out of the bag, the genie is out of the bottle, and it will be what it will be. If you believe in endorsements, if you believe in whoever supports whoever, then it matters to you. What I believe in is doing the homework, doing the studying, and making the right decision based on what you understand and what you know. So there that is. We have here at WVON, unlike any other place, a really big plan for covering the elections this evening. Annette Flournoy, talk to us about what WVON is doing this evening. Annette will eventually talk to us about what we're doing this evening. She's working, of course, on the news to make sure all those things are there for you. But we're gonna make sure that you have what you need to know what has happened as the polls begin to close this evening. We'll be here. I will be here with Cleopatra. She's ready. She's ready.
Yeah, I'm here, Rufus. I was just working and just kind of focusing on this. But yeah, primary election day is here. And, just for the past week or so, we've been meeting and coming together to put together a compelling election night campaign coverage. We're going to have people at all of the key races, reporters, people that from Kendall Moore to Kimberly Agoin to our very own Sunda Walls and LaDonna, Atiba, Candace, Logan. They're going to all be out at the key races, covering the watch parties, giving us up close, detailed information on what's going on. We'll be there for all of the acceptance speeches, concessions. And then, of course, we'll have you, Rufus, here at the round table, along with Cleopatra and our conservative commentarist, our conservative host, along with other guests that'll be coming in. And it'll just be a night just packed full of information and all of the polling results as they come in, and everything that you need to know about this primary election. You can just listen here on WVON. We'll be on Facebook Live. We'll also be on our what's the other one? Titus, help me out.
Vaughn
TV.
Thank you very much. And so yeah, everything that you need to know is right here. It's going to be activities here are going to start at 6:00. Our coverage is going to start at 6, and we're going to go all the way until the last concession speech comes in. We're hoping, before 11 p.m. because we're ready for a very long day here.
We are. It's going to be interesting, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Wall-to-wall coverage right here on WVON. Annette has organized us very well. As she mentioned, all the folks are going to be in the streets Oh, you didn't mention Matt, who's always in the streets. So Matt's gonna be out there too. We're covering all the places. David Seaton will be in along with me, Cleopatra. Eric Johnson's going to be in with us. We've got people, consultants, strategists that we'll talk to around the country. Amisha Cross is going to join us for a bit as well this evening. So we've got some really good wall-to-wall coverage. I'm excited about what we'll do. I think I'll see if I can take a nap sometime during the day. Probably not, because the excitement is just there. It's too much to do. But I'm excited about this evening, excited about what we're putting together here at WVON, doing what we do only for you. Let's find out more from Annette. We're going to make our work this morning. Annette, tell us what's going on in the news. I'll have more for you, and I'll take your calls when we come back after this.
Temperatures in the teens this morning. Good morning. I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's what's happening. It is primary election day in Illinois. The polls opened at 6 this morning and will close at 7 tonight. This is the midterm election that will include an open U.S. Senate seat with 3 contenders, U.S. Representative Robin Kelly and Raja Krishnan-Murthy, as well as Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, all hoping to replace retiring Democratic U.S. Senator Dick Durbin. There are also other multiple open congressional seats up for grabs. Meanwhile, the family of the Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. is reacting to a claim by U.S. Senator candidate Juliana Stratton that the late civil rights leader endorsed her. We get more from Perry Williams.
Fellow candidate Congresswoman Robin Kelly says Mrs. Jackson called her and apologized.
But they lost a dad, a husband, so I told her she didn't have to do that, but she said yes, she did, and that he would have never done that.
Reverend Jackson's son, Yusef, released a statement yesterday that said the information was a draft sample ballot released without authorization. He added that the Jackson family, as well as Rainbow Push, do not issue political endorsements. I'm Perry Williams.
As we've been talking about all morning, be sure to keep it locked all day to WVON 1690 AM. We will report live from some of the hottest races in town, as well as provide comprehensive analysis live in the studio today. In other news today, Governor Pritzker is reacting to news that Border Patrol official Gregory Bovino will retire at the end of the month. The governor posted on social media that Bovino won't just walk away, but he will be held accountable and responsible for the damage he's done to our nation. Pritzker added that no one is above the law. The governor has criticized Bovino over how he conducted Operation Midway Bliss here in Chicago. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVON News Time, 7:32.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Illinois, we need to be able to trust our next senator. And Juliana Stratton isn't being honest about who she is. Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running the Broadview ICE Detention Center. ICE raids Chicago. Stratton benefits from ICE contractor cash. Juliana Stratton even got caught lying about refusing money from MAGA donors. We can't trust Juliana Stratton. Democrat Robin Kelly is a real progressive. Unbought, unbossed.
Outstanding members of the House of Representatives, Robin Kelly.
Barack Obama knows Robin Kelly always fights for us, lowering costs, raising wages, stopping gun violence. Real progressive Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate. Endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus and elect Democratic women. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
This Women's History Month, we're amplifying the brilliance, the boldness, and the unapologetic power of women who refuse to whisper. These are the women who roar, the lawmakers, the CEOs who walk into boardrooms and flip the script, the journalists who ask the hard questions, the organizers who move communities from outrage to action. These women are breaking barriers, rewriting narratives, and redefining what leadership looks like, fueled by courage and driven by legacy. Listen to Women Who Roar, an exclusive feature on WVON, because quiet was never the assignment.
Hi, I'm Lori Smith, host of Meeting the Moment, coming to WVON beginning Saturday, March 21st at 12 noon. WVON, in partnership with the Chicago Community Trust, developed Meeting the Moment to amplify the voices of nonprofits across Chicagoland, giving them the communication tools they need to expand their reach and turn awareness into action. Right now, our communities are facing real challenges, from economic uncertainty to public safety to access and equity. But in the middle of it all, there are organizations doing the work quietly, faithfully, powerfully. With Meeting the Moment, we'll have honest conversations about the issues shaping our region and, more importantly, the solutions happening on the ground. And each week, we'll feature a Chicagoland nonprofit making a difference. You'll hear their story and find out how you can support their work. Because Meeting the Moment is about more than just awareness. It's about impact. Join the Meeting the Moment movement, a program designed for the doers. For more information, visit WVON.com/Meeting the Moment. Listen every Saturday at 12 noon, right here on WVON 1690, the talk of Chicago. Let's meet the moment together. Powered by the Chicago Community Trust.
This is Khomeini Khan, certified financial planner professional. For the past year, I've been on a mission to change lives and build wealth in our community. Together, we're changing the paradigm. This year, I'm back with a new series, Wealth Strategies, Money Talks. Join me every Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the Rufus Williams Show as we have thoughtful discussions around building wealth in our community. We'll discuss topics like investing, savings, tax strategies, retirement, and all things money. Yes, that's Tuesday at 8:30 a.m., so set those alarms. Also, be sure to check out the podcast at WVONWealthShow.com.
Khomeini Khan is a certified financial planner professional with Optimal Planning Partners in alliance with Equitable Advisors, LLC, member SIPC in Oak Brook, Illinois. For more information, please call 630-575-5046.
Tonight, WVON and Von TV are your election headquarters, keeping you connected to the voices and issues that matter most to our community. Join Rufus Williams, Cleopatra Draper, and David Seaton for live election night coverage starting at 6 p.m. They'll lead a dynamic roundtable discussion with insight, context, and a clear view of the races impacting Chicago, from the U.S. Senate to Cook County Board President and the 2nd and 7th Congressional District races. Our team will track the action across the city of Chicago with real-time updates and expert analysis as the results come in. Tonight at 6 p.m. right here on WVON. Or watch the conversation live on Von TV. At WVON, politics is what we do. When the results come in, WVON and Von TV, we've got Chicago covered.
This report is sponsored by WeatherBug. Get the fastest local alerts and accurate 24/7 forecasts with WeatherBug. It's easy to use and provide real-time customizable alerts so the weather never takes you by surprise. Plan every day with confidence. Download the free WeatherBug app from the App Store now.
WVON traffic and weather now.
That earlier stall on the inbound side of the Ryan right near 95th Street is off to the side now, however, damage done. Because of it, we're seeing some big delays along both the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial. The Bishop Ford right now heavy right around the Stony Island feeder. Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, you'll hit the brakes right around 107th Street. That inbound trip along the Ryan, 95th to downtown, will take you 25. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, still 16 minutes from 67th Street to Jackson. Hollywood to Monroe, pretty much stop and go right now, approaching Lawrence. If you're on the Stevenson, 50 minutes in now from I-355 to DuSable Drive, 40 still traveling out. The Eisenhower, a big bump in your travel time, now an hour from Thorndale to the Burns Circle, that outbound trip just about 45 minutes. The Kennedy as well. We're looking at an hour in from O'Hare to downtown, getting to the airport, an hour there. We're going to monitor that, though. We may be looking at an accident. It has just not shown up yet. Taking a look at our weather, it's cold today. The National Weather Service says we'll see some sunshine with a daytime high of 25, but it's going to feel pretty chilly. Right now it's 14 at Midway, 14 in Harvey, and 14 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm NF Lornoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. So this is Women's History Month, and I have been interviewing women presidents, women who lead, as we go through women who roar in our coverage here on WVON. I cannot wait for you to hear the interview that I did yesterday. I talked to the sister. She is the CEO, founder of a company called Pink Construction and Development, the Pink Construction and Development Group. And her story, even beyond what she's doing in this construction company, but her journey to get there is just, I cannot wait for you to hear it. I just cannot wait. So we've been running them once a week. We'll see. This one, I just want to make sure that we get it to you in the proper way, and it may need a little bit of editing or a little bit of work on the audio to make sure you can hear it well here. So I may not get it to you this week, but boy, I cannot wait for you to hear this story. It truly is a journey and can give some inspiration to any and everybody, given what she has done to get there. But back to, I'm at 773-591-1690. As I mentioned earlier, we've got some time to talk this morning, so let's do it. It's election day. We've been waiting for this since this current administration came into office, and given all that they've done, there's got to be a way to put some guardrails around it. This is the way to do it. This is the first way to do it. The courts are doing a number of things and holding back on some of the things that they've done. Put some guardrails around Robert Kennedy and what they pushed back on with respect to these viruses. Vaccines yesterday. So we can talk about that in a little bit, but there's just a lot going on. But our best opportunity is at the polls. This is a country that is to be governed by the people. That's not what we have right now. Lee, good morning and welcome to VON. What's on your mind this morning?
Good morning, Rufus, to everybody. And excited. Great to talk to y'all. Hope everybody is healthy and well.
Always good to talk to you.
And I just want to put out that, the Marines, the MEU, Marine Expeditionary Unit, they've spotted it going through the Strait of Singapore, going over to the Middle East. So we need to get ready, because the way that they've set up I hate even calling it the Department of War. So the way they've set up the Defense Department is they're not putting out any information. And what we're doing now is we're having to get this information secondhand or after the fact. So then they control the narrative. So I think that if you know anybody who listens who has, sons or daughters that are involved, that they should get ready. And second thing is, man, I'm really disappointed that we heard what we heard about the endorsement from the grave, so to speak. And I hope that staffer is given a speaking to, because, and I even feel even worse that, Julia would take that and even use it. The man is passed, wounds are still fresh, and you are so desperate, I guess, to try to get past Raja that you'll use this and say this. And and to me, it's a black eye. And I'm really disappointed that in this race, and I guess we're at this point, Rufus, where we are no longer going to be these people where we look at each other and say, I'm going to step back and let you run because it's for the betterment of all of us. I think that horse has left the barn, and now it's all about me. It's all about if I can get it. And I think that's not going to bode well for us, right? Because that means we're not going to probably get the best and brightest. We're just going to get whoever has the most money, whoever has the strongest backing. And this might set us back, I think, if we continue this pathway where we don't coalesce and we don't coordinate around who the best candidate will be, right? Who will represent us, who will stand up for us, who will listen to us, instead of saying, look, I think it's my time. And understand that key word, I, right? I think it's my time. I believe I should do it. I want to do it. And to me, that's the disappointment, because we're all struggling to get somewhere as a people. And I'll say this last, Rufus. The one thing I love about being Black is that the only person that can infiltrate us and destroy us is us, right? Because if you walk up to me and you're not Black, I know that obviously you're not my culture. So the only way you're going to get into my inner circle or destroy what I'm trying to do, similar to the Panthers, is you have to look like me. And that is the greatest disappointment, because you just go against the cause, you go against everything for someone who does not really care about us. So I just wanted to put that out, man. And thanks for, as always, letting everybody get their say in the morning, and continue to be blessed.
Appreciate you, Lee. Always appreciate your perspective when you and your thoughts when you call. I smiled when you said one of the things I love about being Black. That phrase alone just gives me it's just heartwarming. Thank you so much for calling and sharing that. One of the things you talked about at the very beginning, though, was this war, and we are in fact at war. And I mentioned a bit yesterday about the care that all media companies exercise when we're reporting on things because of the vindictiveness that this administration has, and particularly with some of the people who've been put in some very key spots like the Office of Management and Budget, and as it relates to us, key spots like the FCC. So we're thoughtful about how we say what we say, but it doesn't stop us from saying what needs to be said. I will share with you here, as with respect to the war, these are just facts. And much of what's here comes from some of the places that I go to for information. But you may have seen, if you've watched any or all of these things, that this current administration, the leader of it, is frustrated because some countries have declined his call to come and help us reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Now, you may recall that we heard this war was over on day one, that we don't need any help. There's been pushing on countries, whether it's been with tariffs, whether it's just been saying that other people are not smart, they're not courageous, or whatever this is. There's also the bluster that comes out about how great we are and how winnable and won this war is. But there's been a call for help, call to come and help us reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which many have said is a key place that we should have figured out what to do with before we ever went into this war. It's problematic because many are saying this is not our war. This is a war of choice that was begun by the folks in Washington. I'll give you more on what all that means, what all that says, and kind of where things stand with this war as we vote now to put some people in place, hopefully, who can make Congress do what Congress is supposed to do rather than just yielding all of its power to this administration. That's not the way our democracy works. I'll be back right after this.
More of the morning show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This year makes your health and your family's health a priority by visiting Chicago Department of Public Health clinics at no cost. CDPH immunization clinics provide vaccines for children 0 through 18 years of age whose parents or guardians are unable to pay. This includes vaccines for flu, COVID-19, mpox, and measles, mumps, and rubella. Our mental health centers offer care that provides support for emotional, traumatic, or behavioral difficulties. All mental health centers provide services for adults, children, and adolescents, including intake or screening, individual therapy, group therapy, case management, and medication management. And if you prefer to stay home, we also offer virtual therapy. You can also take care of your sexual health with confidential testing and treatment for sexual transmitted infections at our specialized clinics. Finally, our WIC clinics provide nutrition support, breastfeeding assistance, and guidance on feeding your children. Best of all, these services are completely free, no matter your immigration status or whether you have health insurance. Visit chicago.gov/health services to find your nearest clinic to meet your needs. Your health and your family's health deserve care.
Illinois, we need to be able to trust our next senator. And Juliana Stratton isn't being honest about who she is. Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running the Broadview ICE Detention Center. ICE raids Chicago. Stratton benefits from ICE contractor cash. Juliana Stratton even got caught lying about refusing money from MAGA donors. we can't trust Juliana Stratton. Democrat Robin Kelly is a real progressive. Unbought, unbossed.
Outstanding members of the House of Representatives, Robin Kelly.
Barack Obama knows Robin Kelly always fights for us, lowering costs, raising wages, stopping gun violence. Real progressive Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate. Endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus and elect Democratic women. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
For 70 years, the Humane Society of the United States has worked to end animal cruelty. Now, we're continuing that mission as Humane World for Animals, because we work around the globe to care for animals who are suffering today. And we tackle the root causes of cruelty for a kinder tomorrow. We are Humane World for Animals, and together, we can make a difference. Help make change for animals. Visit humaneworld.org.
Hey, Chicago, this one is for you. Join OG Mr. Rick for the OG Culture Report every Thursday night from 9 to 12 right here on WVON 1690 AM. We're talking the culture, our stories, the streets, politics, entertainment, our struggles, our wins, and the voices that matter. Don't miss it. Every Thursday night, 9 to 12, the OG Culture Report with yours truly, OG Mr. Rick on WVON 1690. That's it. That's all.
This report is sponsored by WeatherBug. Get the fastest local alerts and accurate 24/7 forecasts with WeatherBug. It's easy to use and provide real-time customizable alerts so the weather never takes you by surprise. Plan every day with confidence. Download the free WeatherBug app from the App Store now.
WVON traffic and weather now.
Travel times are ramping up along the inbound Ryan, now 26 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. The inbound Bishop Ford, I-80-94 to the Ryan, you'll need 21 minutes. Pretty much stop and go right around the Stony Island feeder. Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, an 18-minute trip in from I-80, heavy approaching 107th Street. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, that northbound trip from 67th Street to Jackson, still just about 16 minutes. Hollywood to Monroe, you're looking at stop and go traffic starting at Lawrence all the way to North Avenue. Inbound Stevenson, I-355 to DuSable Drive, 50 minutes. Outbound, give yourself 45. The inbound side of the Eisenhower, holding steady in an hour. From Thorndale to the Burns Circle, outbound, do factor in a crash at Western right now. If you're on the Kennedy and from O'Hare to downtown, an hour. Getting to the airport, still that hour trip. Turning sunny today, but cold. The National Weather Service says we're headed to a daytime high of around 25. Right now, temperatures in the teens. It's 14 at Midway, 14 in West Garfield, and 14 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Keep your eyes on the road and both hands on the steering wheel. We will not be held responsible for any accidents. It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Welcome back, folks. I'll just tell you, they're reporting the gas prices throughout the country have gone up by 7 cents overnight as a result of this war in Iran. As I mentioned before the break, this current administration, its leader is upset, frustrated that countries have declined his call to come and help us reopen the Strait of Hormuz, even though he points out that Europe, Japan, and others depend on oil from the Persian Gulf far more than the United States. But Europe in particular is not interested in getting drawn into this conflict. They say it's not their fault that Iran has closed this vital maritime artery, which is driving up prices for cargo and oil throughout the world. Boris Pistorius, who is the defense minister in Germany, said, "This is not our war. We did not start it. and he's calling for a diplomatic solution instead. Prime Minister Keir Starmer of Britain said that his country will not be drawn into the wider war with Iran. The French foreign ministry said much of the same, and the Polish foreign minister said that his nation has also ruled out sending forces into this conflict. At the White House, they said that this obstinacy of U.S. allies was exactly why Trump sneered at protecting other countries. He said, if we ever needed help, they won't be there for us, he said. Now, this is after, as I mentioned, laying on tariffs, calling other countries weak, saying all these things about other folks, and now looking for help and being troubled that they're not coming to help. He's angry, and that seems to be the place that he is most of the time. Think about the name of this war, this occupation, this conflict. It's called Operation Epic Fury, which is kind of where he sees and does things. Peter Baker, who writes for the New York Times, says by his own description, everything he does is epic. It's always the most, the biggest, the best. And he's certainly driven by fury. Anger is at the heart of much of what he does. So the name Operation Epic Fury is one that he chose himself. As Peter Baker analyzes these things, he says, anger defines Mr. Trump's decade on the political stage. Anger at foreigners who come to this country and change its nature. Anger at allies who take advantage of America. Anger at Democrats who cross him. Anger at Republicans who cross him. Anger at appointees he deems insufficiently loyal. Anger at prosecutors, FBI agents, judges, journalists, law firms, elite universities, cultural figures, corporate leaders, pollsters, central bankers, and the Norwegian Nobel Committee. Just mad. And all those things, and why this war has begun to grate on him, and because they have not yet been able to articulate to any of us what the objectives of this war are. And it's not come from anyone, because I'm certain anyone in the administration doesn't want to get ahead of him, and they've said things, and then he goes back and he will say something different than what they've said. So it's just a mess, and we ultimately are bearing the cost of that. Lieutenant Colonel Jeffries, good morning. Welcome to WVON. I apologize for not being able to get to your call yesterday, but I'm glad you called back in.
Oh, no, because yesterday that was a great segment, especially when your guest talked about sinners. She broke it down very nicely, and I appreciate the sentiments as it relates to people who have served, especially us. And here we are. We've gone from sugar, because I'm telling you, the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, himself cannot touch him in strategic understanding of what war is. And it's evident that they had no type of strategic understanding about what's going on with this. It wasn't, they're saying it's not a war, it's an excursion. Get it right, Rufus. And if anybody thinks that man is not still drinking, I got a bridge to sell for you. And it's not funny, because we are losing beautiful people in this excursion. And I have 3 nephews, one in the Air Force regular, one's Air Force Reserve, and one just finished at basic training for Navy. I don't know what we're going to do. I feel like putting my combat boots on and helping Headself get it together. And if this media allows that man to continue to say, I don't know, I'm beginning to believe that's his name. I don't know.
Let me ask you this, because you've been working with young people in JROTC. What do they think about what's going on? Do they understand? Do they follow? And how do you help them appreciate the need to follow orders, even if they don't agree with them?
Well, I'm headed to PD, professional development, today with a group of people that I know quite a few of them voted for this person. And when they do inspections, you have to ask a series of questions, like, hey, who's the commander in chief? So this new guy that's over us goes, he sends out new questions talking about who's the commander-in-chief, and then he says the honorable, the president, Donald J. Trump, especially my few Latino students, they had a fit talking about, I don't want to say, he's not honorable, because one thing about students is they can tell you what you're doing wrong. Now, they're not going to, they don't have good accountability as it relates to their actions. And they shouldn't, because they don't have the tools yet, correct? That's why we're here. But it's just said that that people did not really do a proper analysis as it relates to their vote. So I'm asking everybody to do a very good analysis and be more informative as we go to the polls today and get out and vote. And tell your sister I said, hey, miss you, Rufus.
Take care. Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate you. Let's take a break. Let's find out what's going on in Black Information News. And Annette, please tell us what's in the headlines.
Sunny today on this Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. I'm Annette Flurnoy, and in the headlines, it is Primary Tuesday. Races to watch and what voters should know before going to the polls today. Also, keep it locked to WVON all day long for wall-to-wall live coverage of Primary Election Day Tuesday. And wondering why so many people at work are wearing green? That's because today is the actual day of St. Patrick's Day. National news from the Black Information Network is next on the iHeartRadio app and WVON 1690 AM, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 8:01.
California and several states are suing the Trump administration over new HUD guidance they say weakens protections against housing discrimination. Attorney General Rob Bonta.
Families across California are already struggling to find homes they can afford.
He warns the change could cost states millions in block discrimination cases. President Donald Trump is urging unpaid TSA workers to go to work as the Homeland Security shutdown drags on. TSA agents have missed their first full paycheck, and union leaders warn many workers are struggling to pay bills. Trump blames Democrats for the stalled DHS funding deal. And Selena Quintanilla's sister, Suzette, is suing fashion retailer Shein for selling unauthorized merch. Court documents say Shein ignored a cease and desist in 2025, and the lawsuit seeks to stop sales and recover profits made from the unlicensed items. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
Vice President J.D. Vance appointed by President Trump to lead his benefits fraud task force. It's part of the Trump administration's nationwide war on fraud following the social services scam in Minnesota, resulting in dozens of indictments.
As an example, you've been seeing it and seeing it pretty big in Minnesota, $19 billion. But that's only for one little aspect of the fraud.
Trump said fraud happens in red and blue states, but he believes it's happening more in Democratic-led states again, calling out the Somali community in Minneapolis and Black Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Vance joined Trump in the Oval Office yesterday for the signing of the executive order establishing the task force. Trump says other nations should be thanking us for launching the war against Iran. Speaking to reporters from the Oval Office, he made the comment after being asked what other leaders are telling him about the war.
They have no leadership. The leadership is gone. But then they set up a new leadership to go and name a new leader, and that leadership is gone. And now they think maybe the sun is gone.
Trump said countries, including China, Japan, and South Korea, should not only be thanking the U.S., but also helping to secure the Strait of Hormuz. The president said those countries depend on oil shipments through the strait for their energy concerns. Yesterday, Trump called out the UK for not helping more to protect the strait from Iranian aggression. Black House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries pushing an effort to force a vote on legislation to reopen the Department of Homeland Security. The measure would be crafted without immigration enforcement agencies like ICE and CPB, which are in the middle of controversy on Capitol Hill. In a letter to his Democratic colleagues, Jeffries said party leaders this week will unveil a discharge petition on legislation funding most of DHS. That includes the Transportation Security Administration, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. ICE and CPB have remained under heavy scrutiny after Renee Good and Alex Preddy were fatally shot in Minneapolis 2 months ago. The killings led to increased demand by Democrats for tougher rules in immigration enforcement as a condition of garnering support for DHS funding. Somalia has warned against alleged plans by Israel to build a military base in the breakaway region of Somaliland, whose independence is not acknowledged by Somalia. The base would be a strategic point for Israel to conduct airstrikes against adversaries as the war rages on. Somalia warned last week against any plans by Israel to construct a military base in the breakaway region. It would allow Israel to conduct strategic airstrikes against adversaries, including the Houthi rebels in Yemen, but also Iran and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel was the first UN member to recognize Somaliland's independence last December. Stay informed, stay connected, and subscribe. Follow VIN News this hour wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Every week, there are names we speak in whispers, faces frozen in time, stories that end with no justice. I am Cleopatra Draper, host of The Cleopatra Show, and I'm not letting them be forgotten. Help Find My Killer is where we revisit the cold cases of Black men, women, and children whose lives were stolen. Cases where killers were never brought to justice. Every Thursday, we'll hear from families who are still grieving, investigators who are still searching, and a community that refuses to give up hope. Because silence protects the guilty, and we will not be silent. Help Find My Killer every Thursday on The Cleopatra Show, exclusively on WVON 1690 AM.
Find My Killer Thursdays on The Cleopatra Show. Let us help you find justice for your loved one. Email executive producer Sonia Walls at sonia@wvon.com. That's SUNYA@wvon.com.
This is Congressman Danny Davis saying, don't fall for the okie doke. One mistake on your income tax does not make you a corrupt politician. Charges made, charges dropped. I know LaShawn Ford. He's a good father, a reliable public servant who represents the people and not the PACs. He is known by us. We know him, he knows us. He lives among us, visit our schools, eat at our restaurants. 19 years in the state legislature, protecting Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, SNAP, ex-offenders, and all the rest. The crypto people don't want LaShawn in Washington because they know that he will represent us and not them. Let's send our representative to Washington, LaShawn K. Ford, Punch 31. Paid for by Danny K. and Dr. Vera G. Davis.
Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., host and owners of Top and Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance, and they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top and Top Insurance Agency.
This report is sponsored by WeatherBug. Get the fastest local alerts and accurate 24/7 forecasts with WeatherBug. It's easy to use and provide real-time customizable alerts so the weather never takes you by surprise. Plan every day with confidence. Download the free WeatherBug app from the App Store now.
WVON Traffic and Weather now.
No
No major changes on the Ryan, actually a slight improvement now 25 minutes in from 95th Street into downtown. Getting to the Ryan along the Bishop 4, 21 minutes still from I-80-94. Tuskegee Airmen Memorial just bumped up to 17 from I-80. DuSable Lakeshore Drive, still that 17-minute trip northbound from 67th Street to Jackson as you make your way from Hollywood to Monroe, pretty tight from Foster all the way to North Avenue. Inbound Stevenson, I-355 to DuSable Drive, a 45-minute trip. Outbound, pretty much still 40. If you're on the inbound side of the Eisenhower, still expect that 60-minute trip from Thorndale to the Burns Circle, outbound 55 with a new accident at Damon. If you're on the Kennedy and from O'Hare to downtown, now just about 40 minutes. Getting to the airport, though, a 51-minute trip. Taking a look at our weather, turning sunny today, bright skies, but pretty cold. Temperatures remaining in the teens. The National Weather Service says we're looking at a daytime high of 25. It's 14 at O'Hare, 14 in Inglewood, and 14 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Election day is today. Get out and vote.
Live from the Xfinity Studios, it's the station that America listens to. WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's Rufus Williams on Chicago's essential storyteller, WVON.
You wonder how we do it. It's just one simple rule. I'm just cool. Honey, baby, can't you see? Girl, I'm so cool. Ain't nobody bad like me. Hey. R-U-F-U-S. What's that spell? R-U-F-U-S. I'm just cool. Honey, baby, can't you see? Girl, I'm so cool. Ain't nobody bad like me. Sing it, baby. R-U-F-U-S. What's that stand? R-U-F-U-S. That spell cool. The audio genius. The audio genius. The audio genius.
Welcome back. It feels good to have an opportunity to just have some conversation this morning on election day, on voting day. We'll talk tomorrow about we'll talk this evening about how it's going. I'm sure everyone is going to get out and vote because in spite of what anybody says, we do vote. Black folks go to the polls, and Black women in particular have been known to change races. So looking forward to all that comes from there as well. We have to note that the reason that Joe Biden got into office was because a certain representative from South Carolina supported him. So it changed the paradigm on so many things, and that's us. So let's make sure as we do this now, as we do this going forward, that our issues get addressed. There's another election coming up tomorrow that I need to tell you about. Talked about it some yesterday on a Tiba show, but you need to know this because this affects us right here, right now with our children. But I'll take some calls before I come to that. I'll make sure I tell you about that sometime within this next half an hour. Miss Eunice, good morning and welcome to VON.
Good morning, Rufus. How are you?
I'm doing great, Miss Eunice. How are you?
Doing good. I would just like to say one thing. Trump is one sick man. He should not be anywhere near decision making. His enablers are no better, and that little Speaker Johnson is the pits. And I've never seen such a deranged person. Remember, only he can fix things. Remember his words. And how did we get here? And I would say to everyone, get out and vote. Vote. I've already voted. And thank you for taking my call.
Always, Miss Eunice, appreciate you. Dennis Bradley, good morning and welcome to VON. What's on your mind this morning?
Good morning, Rufus.
Good morning.
Rufus, I didn't get a chance to complete what I was telling you the last time we talked. But I was telling you about my sister being killed in the embassy bombing in Nairobi, Kenya. Well, also I lost a cousin, relative, in the trade tower bombing. Now, Rufus, these things are going to happen. They're going to continue. There were 40 such attempts of anti-patriot activities in the last, I'd say, 20, 25 years. And people, you have to have the mind. You don't have the mindset. I don't even have the mindset of people who feel aggrieved and everything. And there's going to be some repercussions, rather, as a result of what's happening now. And we have to be mindful. And the big target right down there is that big target, that golden place that says Trump Towers. So everybody be mindful. You know, we've had people try to light shoes on planes and everything else. And these people, unless you understand the psyche of the people there, and I don't blame them. We're really better be careful and go vote and vote for the people who are going to help us.
Dennis,
Thank you.
No, I appreciate you. Sorry about your sister again. You're right. All these places, there's so many things that he likes to put his name on that become targets, and any of us who are near any of that will find ourselves also in jeopardy. There are a lot of, whether you call them lone wolves or whatever else, if we put ourselves in a similar situation, we'll better understand and have empathy for those who are doing these things. It's just we're in a very bad way right now, and hopefully somewhere along the way we can get this righted through the vote, through reconsiderations of folks who are currently in office. But somewhere we've got to become safe again, because in many ways it doesn't feel like we are right now. Frank, good morning. Welcome back to VON. What's on your mind this morning, my friend?
Hey, yes, sir. Good morning, brother Rufus and J1. How you doing, bro? I know you're on fire, as usual.
Well, we're trying to just we're trying to learn something together. So this is what we do.
Yes, we are. Yes, some great callers. Wow. Let me start by saying, yes, I just voted myself, and I am very proud to say I did vote for Juliana Stratton, LaShawn Ford, and I voted for Tony Freckwinkle, just in the top three. Very proud. Trump, I still said this guy's not going to last. Just for this topic on him in regard to what to watch out for, what he's doing. This guy went over there and murdered an entire administration, and not only them, but their loved ones too. We're talking about innocent men, women, children too, that was related to him. This guy is a monster. To vote for this guy was insane. To do it 3 times was this like undescribable. Okay. He can change the Department of Defense to Department of War all he wants to. That tell you right there what his mentality is. I'm glad our allies are standing up to him. He doesn't understand how to be a president. He doesn't understand what NATO and our allies are about. We're all about defense, okay, and defending one another when we come up on attack. We're not about starting wars. So they're standing up to him. We need to get out and vote and make sure we stand up to them in these polls and don't let them steal the midterms election. Our media, not black-owned media, 2, 5, 7, and 9, we're not coming out at them and asking them and giving them for allowing this guy to come on and tell lie after lie after lie. You don't even have the backbone. We know you're owned by billionaires, but you don't even have the backbone to say, Mr. President, now you know it's not true. They let them get away with it. Okay? Last but not least, before I hop off, I totally agree with the caller earlier. I think his name was Lee, when he said about our worst enemies, our infiltration, those who just don't seem to get it, Brother Rufus. It's now not the time to understand, hey, look here, if this guy does have a couple of things that he's doing that you like, he got a couple of things he want to do that I like too. But I'm not going to vote for this evil. We are our biggest threat. We need to come together and understand that there's a bigger issue than our individual wants or wishes. We got to think about us as a whole, as a people. People, you need to understand that. And I wonder how many those who voted for this guy in the past are going to come out and vote for this Republican period. Again, how many? Unbelievable. It's undescribable. I'm going to hop off right here and there, Brother Butcher. Y'all have a great day. I voted, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of who I voted for. Come on, Juliana. Come on, LaShawn. And come on, Miss Freckwinkle. Frank with the West Side. Got your back. Thank you, guys.
All right, Frank. Take care of yourself. Talk to you soon. Let's take a quick break. Have more for you and more calls when we come back after this.
More of the Morning Show with Rufus Williams coming up on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This is Commissioner Larry Rogers, here to tell you about my friend Judge Michael Cabanargi. For years, I worked side by side with Michael to fix our property tax system and protect homeowners. We can trust Judge Michael Cabanargi. That's why he is endorsed by the Democratic Party and has the highest bar rankings in the race. Judge Cabanargi is the only candidate with judicial experience, and he deserves our vote on March 17th.
Paid for by Friends of Cabanargi.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
I know you're gonna dig this.
As reported earlier, Christy Nome is gone.
See, you
should never
be
trust a gnome, though. Only reason you trust a gnome is around Christmas. That's it.
Or in the garden. In the garden.
I told you, her and Pam Bondi and Christy Nome and Donald Trump wear so much makeup, they hug each other. They'll make a creamsicle. Donald Trump look like his makeup is Dorito dust, doesn't it?
It's the DL Hughley Show.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. Their max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Stephanie Kiffowit is not your usual controller candidate. She's a Marine veteran and a current Illinois state representative with years of experience fighting waste, fraud, and abuse in Illinois government. Illinois needs a Democratic controller ready on day one to protect taxpayer dollars, stand up to Donald Trump, and get results.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Kiffowit, and I'm running for Illinois State Controller.
Paid for by Kiffowit for Controller.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
No major changes in your travel times this break. The only thing new right now is we're getting reports that there's going to be some street closures happening right in and around Grant Park as crews set up for the Shamrock Shuffle. Taking a look at our weather, we are seeing some sunshine today, not affecting your temperatures. Pretty cold temperatures remaining in the teens. Our daytime high around 25 later today. Right now it's 14 in Midway, 14 in South Holland, and 14 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
If you're not out of the bed yet, then what are you waiting for? It's the WVON Morning Show with Rufus Williams on 1690 WVON.
Welcome back. Let's get back to the phones. Greg, good morning. Welcome to VON. What's on your mind this morning?
Good morning, Rufus. How you doing there, my
Great,
brother?
man. How are you?
Good. You know, Rufus, I know the day is the election, but for those who will totally ignore this thing called election, this is exactly why we're in the situation we're in now, because all the people who never did vote. We ain't talking about those who voted for the other fool and all this. We talking about those who did vote. Or because the first thing they say, yeah, what's it going to do for me? What have you done for an election that earns you anybody that's doing something for you? And we can ignore what this fool is doing, this orangutan in office is doing. This is how George W. Bush missed September 11th, playing golf, ignoring all the warning signs of somebody telling him, you know, that these things are happening and going to happen. We got nothing but a bunch of ignoring type of people. I was just watching the day, Rufus, about this guy. He's a general. He telling mother we should just go over there and just bomb Iran so that we can just say we surrender. This is a former general. I said, this is the problem now. We got too many people sitting on the sideline, armchair quarterback and everything. So what, you was a general? But you must not have been a good general because you sound like a crazy man right now. If it hadn't not been for John F. Kennedy, president, we would have went to nuclear war, because when he listening to all them crazy generals who were saying, let's bomb Cuba. Thank God John F. Kennedy had the fortitude to say, hold it, these people are nuts. If we go to war, it's not going to be anybody else on this earth, because everybody else going to cease to exist. We got to pay attention to what's going on here. This thing with Iran is really about somebody making money off the military when it comes to contracts. That's what this really about. We're ignoring too much stuff. And we say we're not ignoring, but we're ignoring it, you know. And that's the problem that's why we're in the situation we're in, Rufus.
Yeah. Greg, appreciate you, and thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, I think unless we know history, it certainly has a rhythm and it will repeat itself. And that Cuban Missile Crisis is a wonderful way to bring things up, because at the same time, while all this is going on, there's still threats being made around Cuba. So we find ourselves just in a very, very difficult period right here in this country. I mentioned earlier, I do want to take a moment. Today is election day. We've got all of these races, the governor's races, the race for Congress. Seats are changing. I think there are 5 congressional seats in Illinois that are shifting. There are judges that are being voted on today. Other races, Illinois is the main place today. There'll be other races around the country, some that have already happened and some that will continue, that will try and give us a sense of who and how we put guardrails around what's going on now. But there's something else that's happening. There's another elections that take place tomorrow. They take place at every school here in the city. It's elections for local school council representatives. And you will recall, going back in 1988, there was a law that was passed that gave control over our individual schools to the community. There are parents, teachers, administrators, and in some cases, students and community members who are involved in the actual management of the schools. These local school councils are responsible for hiring and firing principals. They're responsible for the school budget, and they're responsible for some other oversight within the schools. Each school has a local school council at different levels, but it's important that this be a way that we get engaged and involved in the education of our children. Those elections take place tomorrow at the schools. So make sure, while we really focus in on what's going on today, critically important for the primary, important again when we get to November, these local school council elections lead to a lot of things that are important as well. Because there's been so much discussion, or not enough discussion, around the election of the school board. This fall, we'll have a fully elected, for the first time, a fully elected school board here in Chicago. That is taking so much precedent, as well as the discussion around who's going to be the CEO of the schools, just so many other things related to it. Let's take these things one bite at a time. Local school councils are tomorrow. the current school board is and that takes place at every school. The students will elect the student representative. The community will elect the community representatives. The parent will elect the parent representatives. But make sure in those schools and every community that you go in and we take care of that business. There's currently, as I understand, 3 people on the slate to be the CEO of Chicago Public Schools. We currently have an interim CEO in Dr. King. She is one of the people now considered as one of the finalists, along with a previous leader of the schools in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and a previous leader of the schools in New York City. So perhaps it will come to that at some point soon, but this is an area that we must pay attention to in the face of all these other things that are going on. You have no doubt that soon after these elections are over, we get right into who's running for mayor. And we haven't heard yet whether the incumbent is going to run again. He wouldn't tell me when I asked him the question pretty directly at City Club, but I'm sure that information will come out. There's been speculation about others who are running, so that will take some precedence. But let's not miss what's important in these other places, in these other elections that are taking place tomorrow for local school council. Let's take a break, find out what's going on in the news. When we come back, it is time for our weekly segment on wealth strategies with Khomeini Khan. We'll be back right after this.
A sunny but cold Tuesday in Chicago. Good morning. I'm in Illinois, and here's what's happening. It's primary election day in Illinois. The polls opened at 6 this morning and will close at 7 tonight. Now, after months of campaigning, voters will decide who will advance to the November general election. Well, this morning, election officials report that so far, early voting and vote by mail has been popular, and numbers could turn out to be record-breaking. But poll watchers are monitoring whether today's cold weather will affect in-person turnout. Now, this is the midterm election that will include an open U.S. Senate seat with 3 contenders, U.S. Representatives Robin Kelly and Raja Krishnan-Murthy, as well as Illinois Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, all hoping to replace retiring Democratic U.S. Senator Dick Durbin. There are also multiple open congressional seats up for grabs. Well, the family of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. is responding to the claim by U.S. Senate candidate Juliana Stratton that the late civil rights leader endorsed her. Perry Williams reports.
Fellow candidate Congresswoman Robin Kelly says Mrs. Jackson called her and apologized.
But they lost a dad, a husband, so I told her she didn't have to do that, but she said yes, she did, and that he would have never done that.
Reverend Jackson's son, Yusef, released a statement yesterday that said the information was a draft sample ballot released without authorization. He added that the Jackson family, as well as Rainbow Push, do not issue political endorsements. I'm Perry Williams.
Meanwhile, be sure to keep it locked all day long to WVON 1690 AM as we report live on some of the hottest races in town, as well as comprehensive analysis live in the studio. Well, residents in South Suburban Dalton have been hammered lately by severe weather, and today's freezing temps are not helping matters. While many continue recovering from the heavy rain and winter storms over the weekend, leaving many homeowners with flooded basements and high standing water, today a lot of that water has turned into ice. Well, village officials say Dalton has an infrastructure problem that has existed for years. They say they're working on fixing it. The mayor is expected to assess damage and provide property owners with information about flood assistance. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVON News Time, 8:33.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
Catch Reverend Al Sharpton online at WVON.com or on the WVON app. Just click the Al Sharpton banner. Tune in every day at 12 noon for your daily dose. And if you miss it, catch the overnight replay from midnight to 3 a.m. We're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on WVON 1690.
Tell everybody, Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Whatever you do, keep it real.
Juliana Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running Chicago's largest ICE detention lockup center. Even worse, Juliana Stratton raised taxes on working families by 32%. Then, Stratton turned around and promised tax breaks for her corporate donors, higher taxes for us, tax breaks for her wealthy donors. Juliana Stratton selling us out. Raja Krishnamurthy has spent his entire life taking on the powerful for the people. An immigrant, Raja grew up on food stamps, relying on neighbors just to get by. He knows what's at stake because he's lived it. That's why in the Senate, Raja Krishnamurthy will lower drug prices, end taxes on Social Security, and make sure every child has a free lunch at school. Raja Krishnamurthy, our Democratic fighter for U.S. Senate. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Kyle from Blindster.com started Blindster in his garage over 15 years ago to make custom blinds easy and affordable for everyone. You measure, you install, and you save big on custom blinds. Plus, they guarantee they'll fit. Blindster.com.
Illinois, we need to be able to trust our next senator. And Juliana Stratton isn't being honest about who she is. Stratton's massive super PAC is funded by the very contractor running the Broadview ICE Detention Center. ICE raids Chicago. Stratton benefits from ICE contractor cash. Juliana Stratton even got caught lying about refusing money from MAGA donors. We can't trust Juliana Stratton. Democrat Robin Kelly is a real progressive. Unbought, unbossed.
Outstanding members of the House of Representatives, Robin Kelly.
Barack Obama knows. Robin Kelly always fights for us. Lowering costs, raising wages, stopping gun violence. Real progressive Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate. Endorsed by the Congressional Black Caucus and elect Democratic women. Paid for by Protect Progress and not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Protect Progress is responsible for the content of this advertising. www.protectprogresspac.com.
Hello, this is Congressman Danny Davis, and I want to tell you why I'm supporting Tony Preckwinkle for Cook County Board President. When Donald Trump targeted our community and deployed mass ICE agents onto our streets, Tony fought back, barring ICE from county buildings, especially our hospitals, and with Governor Pritzker defeated Trump in court. Tony has also taken on the financial pressure facing our families. She led the effort to eliminate medical debt in Cook County, work that has now erased $1.5 billion for our residents. For 15 years, she's balanced the county budget without raising property taxes, expanded health care to more than 400,000 people through county care, and invested hundreds of millions of dollars in community safety and small business. That's why I'm with Tony. I'm Congressman Danny Davis. Join me, Governor Pritzker, and so many others across Cook County in supporting Tony Preckwinkle for County Board President.
Paid for by Preckwinkle for President.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That fun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., host and owners of Top & Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance. And they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top & Top Insurance Agency.
This report is brought to you by MapQuest. Before smartphones, there was MapQuest. Before GPS, there was MapQuest. Before Google Maps, there was MapQuest. And guess what? MapQuest is back, now on your smartphone. No printer required. Download the MapQuest app from the App Store or visit mapquest.com.
The following is paid programming. The views are not necessarily those of this station. It's time for the Wealth Strategy Show with Khomeini Khan, powered by Optimal Planning Partners.
Khomeini Khan, certified financial planner professional, offers securities through Equitable Advisors, LLC, New York, New York, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA, SIPC, Equitable Financial Advisors in Michigan and Tennessee. Annuity and insurance products offered through Equitable Network, LLC, and does not provide tax or legal advice. Individuals may transact business and or respond to inquiries only in states in which they are properly registered and or licensed. This informational and educational radio segment does not offer or constitute and should not be relied upon as financial, business, or tax advice.
It gets so hard, just trying to figure it out, fight it out, trying to believe God, trying to watch the words in my mouth and stay on the ride. Trouble come and go, even on the mountain high, on the valley low. Never let your faith go. Oh, never let your faith go. I've been there before, so confused, don't know which way to go. Stressed out, world so crazy now, stay in the house. Fear trying to rise up, got terrorists disguised. They look like us, but we know who we trust. Just when I say that we gon' be
Welcome back. It is Tuesday. It is 8:30, which means it's time for our Wealth Strategy Show with our main man, Khomeini Khan. Khomeini, welcome back to WVON.
Good morning, Rufus. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Who picked that song?
You know, I picked that song.
You picked it.
I did.
Not the children, not the wife. It was you.
It was me.
What's the message that you're giving us?
You know, the message is to stay uplifted. You know, no matter what's going on, it could be tough. It could be hard. We have our challenges, but keep your head up because it's going to be all right.
We're going to be all right.
We're going to be
We're going to be all right.
That's right.
That's important information all the time because sometimes it looks dark.
It does. And so
that's why we plan. And that's what we're doing here. So again, we kind of begin with this because it's important. And each Tuesday, I think about wearing my sweatshirt that says Black Wealth Matters. But
absolutely.
But I didn't today just because I got a breakfast meeting. I may wear it next week because it's just consistent with what it is that we do. But again, we talk about this every week, but from your perspective, from your lens, why is it important that we do this?
Yeah, and thank you, Rufus, for that. I appreciate that. And so just want to first welcome the listeners, WVON family. Thank you again for tuning in for your Tuesday check-in with your money. And before I go into that real quick, Rufus, last week I told you I was celebrating my wedding anniversary, my 2 year.
A whole 2 years.
A whole 2 years, right? 2 years and counting. But also there's another anniversary I'm celebrating this month, which is my 1 year anniversary of partnering with WVON and doing the Wealth Strategy Show. And so last year in March, we kicked off the show, partnering with WVON to bring this information to the listeners. And so I just want to say I'm thankful. I'm thankful for the opportunities, 1 year later to still be sitting here talking to people about, building wealth, and particularly in our community. I want to thank Melanie Span Cooper, Pierre, Terry, the whole WVON family, kicking it off with Matt, and of course, working with you now. It's been a privilege and an honor, and I'm humbled to be able to talk and share these ideas every single week with the listeners. And so just wanted to commemorate that and just give my thanks to everyone who continues to listen week after week. I get a lot of calls and people just kind of say, hey, listen to your show every single week, and I had no idea. And so hopefully this message and information can continue to be valuable to the listeners and them and their family.
Great. So you practiced with Matt before you came in here with me. This is good because Matt is a conversationalist, man. Matt can talk with you about anything at any moment in any way. way. So
Yeah,
that's
we had some good conversations. So yeah,
I'm sure you did. The question is just whether it was about what you came in to talk about, because Matt will go. I came on Matt's show last week, and we ended up talking about something
I think
entirely
I heard
different.
that show. I think I heard that one. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, that was a nice little remix.
You pop in every now and then
Yeah,
on other
yeah,
folks.
yeah.
But today, let's talk about financial planning.
Yes.
Because planning, it's been said, if you don't have a plan, then anything can happen.
Absolutely.
And in this case, financial planning becomes critical to developing a strategy. So tell us, on that note, exactly what is financial planning?
Thank you, Rufus. And actually, that is our financial tip of the week. Let's discuss financial planning and what is it all about. A lot of people have heard, the term financial planning. And, people even think, hey, it might be something important to do, but they might not realize what it actually is. And so what financial planning actually is, it's a collaborative process between a financial advisor or a planner like myself and a client to discuss your goals and your goals in the context of me giving you financial advice about how to maximize those goals that you have. Often you'll work with someone who is specialized in financial planning, like a certified financial planner. That's kind of the gold standard in our industry when it comes to financial planning. And so we'll really focus on holistically your situation. That means looking at all different areas of your situation, everything you have going on, to really be able to give you some recommendations and advice about how to achieve those financial goals, whether it be retirement or saving for college or, making sure you have the right life insurance. We'll sit down with you collaboratively to work and put a plan together for you and your family to achieve your goals. So that is financial planning in a nutshell. And it's a really important thing, no matter where you are in your life path, a lot of people can benefit from the different facets of financial planning.
Yeah, I recall earlier in my career sitting with, he was actually a recruiter, a headhunter, but he was a CPA. And he was encouraging me about getting a different job. And I told him I wanted to be a millionaire.
All right.
And so he said, okay, well, how do you plan to do that? And we kind of walked through all this time. I was going to be a millionaire by a certain age. And as we walk through it, it's kind of, okay, I need a different plan. The one I have is not going to get me there. But let's talk about the different benefits of financial planning. You began some of them, but walk us through what, the top 5 benefits of financial planning are.
Yeah, in financial planning, it can be very illuminating. I tell my clients when we're working together, no matter what your goals are, because everybody is different. Maybe that one person wants to have $1 million. Maybe another person wants to retire at 45. My job is not to tell you that you can achieve your goals. My job is to help you to be able to quantify how to get there. Now, once we talk about the numbers and, if you have a very aggressive goal and I say, hey, the numbers say you need to save $5,000 a month to get there, then you may realize, oh, well, this is a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. So maybe you have to adjust, but I'm going to help you figure out how to get there no matter what that goal is. And then sometime, once we kind of look at the numbers and quantify things, we may need to adjust. But with that being the case, some of the benefits of financial planning is number one, it's about goal setting and being able to achieve your goals. It's one of the most important things when it comes to financial planning, because you come to the table with certain goals that you want to be able to achieve, right? Whether it be retiring at a certain age, having a certain amount of money, or just having a comfortable lifestyle. My goal as a financial planner is to work with you to help you figure out how to get there, right? We're going to set goals, and I'm going to help you figure out how to achieve those goals, be it through, saving certain amounts of money, setting up certain type of plans. I'm going to help you figure out how to get there. And so that's one of the most important benefits when it comes to financial planning is goal setting and goal achievement. All right.
Do you have to be able to achieve these goals? Because goals hit different things, right? There are stretch goals, there are achievable goals,
right.
There are different things. So I want to reach for the stars, but if I get to the moon, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and that's an important point too, because it's one thing to set a goal, and all the time we don't hit our goals, right? But you can still be comfortable, right? And so maybe you want to have $1 million for retirement, and maybe you want to do it by age 60, right? But maybe you don't get there to age 65, right? And that could still be okay. Or maybe you get to 800,000 and we run the numbers and see that you could still be comfortable with that. These numbers may seem, big, right? Just in the context of things. But when you think about, working and retirement, if you retire at age 60, and you live a long life, you're going to live another 30, 35 years. You're going to need a lot of money.
You're going to need some money.
Right. You're going to need some money to be able to live
or settle in a different lifestyle.
Or settle in a different lifestyle. You got other plans out there, Social Security, pension, 401ks. And so my job is to be able to help you decipher and sort through that to make sure that you have what you need.
Good.
And so another benefit of financial planning is really about improved money management, because when we sit down together and we talk about, what are you doing with your money? I always ask my clients, what are your habits around saving and spending? And we talk about that. And that's always a very interesting conversation, because most people say, well, what do you mean? I say, well, how do you save? How do you spend? Do you have a plan for saving? And how do you go about your spending? You just pull out the debit card and swipe, or do you have a budget? And so it's important to be able to kind of talk through and understand that strategy, because if you just really kind of just spending and saving without having a strategy around it, it's really going to be tough for you to get to where you want to go.
Money management is not always what you make, is what you keep and how you spend it and how you invest it. So managing it becomes really important. Talk about what else?
So we got increased savings. That's a benefit. Of course, the whole goal is that, when we're talking about setting goals, we're talking about looking at that spending. We want to be able to make sure you have enough money so you can actually increase that savings. And so we're going to look at different plans and different strategies, everything from investing to saving, and making sure you have that emergency reserve. And so that's an important piece, just being able to boost that amount of savings that you have. We're going to look at that budget for the purpose of making sure we can identify that you can save more, because the more you can save, the better off you'll be in the long term, the more options you have for doing the things that you want to do in retirement and having a certain type of lifestyle. So that's important.
You're setting goals, you're managing the money, you're saving, you're managing it so that you can have some savings.
Absolutely.
And then what?
Absolutely. And so we want to be able to just, obviously save so we can invest, but we also want to be able to do what we call risk management. So risk management is another benefit of financial planning. And so risk management is about looking at different areas as it relates to your life and, just those eventualities to happen, right? So thinking about everything from a person become disabled, a person can pass prematurely. And so from a financial planning standpoint, we look at the what ifs of your situation to make sure that your family could still be okay, or even you could be okay, right? And so, making sure you have things like disability insurance and life insurance and, have done your estate planning. So a lot of different ways that we look at your plan to make sure that we help you manage the risk just around living. That's an important aspect of financial planning.
So you think about what those risks might be, which one we may not be here. And depending on what the goals are and who you want to take care of, you need to think about what that risk is and do the best you can to manage that.
Absolutely. And so, a lot of people may not know how to do that. And so we'll give you insights to everything from looking at your homeowner's insurance, making sure your home is protected, making sure you got proper medical insurance, making sure you got disability insurance. That's a big one,
Yeah, may not even think about what all those risks are. So you see them.
Absolutely.
From talking to other people, you'll know what they are, even if I haven't thought about what they are.
Absolutely.
Which is why you talk to a planner.
Financial planner. There you go. There you go. Because a lot of times, even my clients who are very well off, they may have gaps in their risk management. And so that's an area that a lot of people need to take a look at, is just risk management and make sure you and your family are protected the way that you want them to be protected. So,
and then the other thing that's happened, because we don't use layaway like we did once upon a time, everybody ends up carrying some level of debt, which is not bad, because you've got to have a credit score to do things, but you need to figure that out. Talk about that aspect of it.
Absolutely. So that's another important aspect we'll look at when it comes to financial planning, and it's an important benefit is that debt reduction, right? Just like you said, there's good debt and there's quote unquote bad debt. And so we're going to help you sort through that.
Yeah, debt where you're paying 26% is not good debt.
That is definitely a tough one. You're paying 26%. It's going to take you many, many years, especially if you're paying the minimum balance to pay it off. And so we're actually going to help you look at debt reduction. And we're going to help you come up with strategies and plans to get that debt paid off and come up with a plan to do so. I've helped many clients, who had debt, a lot of debt and issues. And so they wanted help specifically around that. And we helped them come up with a plan. We looked at, their interest rates and their payments and helped them come up with a plan to be able to pay it down in a certain number of years. So that's definitely a benefit of what we do in working with people with financial planning.
I may have shared this before because I did have one of those credit cards. Okay, it was Capital One, and the rate was in the 20s, and it was really aggravating to me. And so I was throwing money at it and paid it off.
Yeah.
And then because we don't have layaway, I just started paying everything in cash.
Yeah.
But it wasn't good for my credit score, which it really
you gotta balance that.
Yeah,
You're
threw it
right. You
off.
gotta balance that. So it is important to have a credit history so you can eventually get those things that you need, loans and mortgages and car notes. But obviously you want to make sure you manage it in a certain way.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a whole show on debt and handling debt responsibly, and we'll really kind of dive into everything from the ratios to the types of credit and all that good stuff. So
Yeah. It's important. What I learned is I can have credit, just pay it off every month, and then you get the same thing.
That's true.
Even get it better because then you develop a score. When we think about financial planning, you've gone through 5 things: setting goals, money management, saving, risk management in life, and then reducing debt.
Yep.
Any other benefits of financial planning?
Yeah, there are some other benefits I want to share. And so, now is tax time. A lot of people are getting their taxes done, working with their accountants. And so
Thanks for the memory. I got a reminder.
got to get in there and get it done. A few weeks left. And so we help you with your planning as it relates to tax efficiency of what you're doing. And so, obviously we work together with your CPA and your accountant to make sure we help you maximize, credits, maximize deductions, making sure you're taking advantage of all those things that are available to you from a tax standpoint, because, you have different plans and things available. You got your retirement plans through the job, which help you save on taxes. You got certain type of retirement accounts that you can set up individually where you can save on taxes. So there's a lot of ways to have tax efficiency in your plan. A lot of times, we just save, right? We just save, and that's a good first step. But you can also save in ways that are more tax efficient, which can give you more bang for your buck. And so we help make sure that you're maximizing those tax efficiency plan and efforts as it relates to financial planning overall.
Great. What else?
Yep. And so retirement security, that's obviously a big benefit,
Yeah.
Because, we just think about retirement in general. You don't want to just retire, right? You want to be able to plan around that. I've seen people just retire, and I also seen them unretire because they didn't do the planning. And so it's important to do the planning. And so another benefit is that, we'll help you prepare for retirement, making sure that you take advantage of those, those savings plans through the job, making sure that you understand Social Security, making sure you understand that pension and how it works. And even, if there's a survivor benefit, like a person has a pension and they pass, what happens to the spouse? We're going to help you make sure that you understand all the different facets around retirement so you can have a comfortable retirement. So that's another benefit. Obviously, we're here today talking about building wealth, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a big one. That's a big one as it relates to one of the benefits of financial planning is that we're going to help you with wealth building. We want to make sure that you understand the different mechanisms and plans that are out there to help you be able to build wealth for you and your family. On the introduction every day, we talk about, on the show, everything from using home ownership and building equity through your home to build wealth and, understanding the stock market and investments, entrepreneurship and owning businesses. So all these different ways we're going to help you to be able to flush out and figure out how to build wealth, which is what wealth strategies is all about, because, maybe you know how to save and that's a first step, but we're going to get a little bit more, sophisticated, a little more jiggy and help you figure out different ways where you can really get more bang for your buck as it relates to wealth building for you and your family.
Yeah, he went there. We're getting jiggy with it, he said.
That's right.
I caught that.
That's right.
There's a real key to all of this money management and wealth building and mental health. And what is that?
Yeah, it is a direct correlation, and one of the benefits of financial planning is it helps you build peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind, which a lot of times we underrate until we don't have it. And so money can be very stressful. You know, a lot of people, you know, thinking about how you're going to make it from paycheck to paycheck or stretching that dollar, you know, and it doesn't matter how much you make. You know, people make six figures and they still live paycheck to paycheck. You know, it's about really being able to manage what you have. Just like you said, Rufus, it's not about how much you make, it's how much you keep. And so making sure that you, you know, put a plan together to give you that peace of mind to know that, okay, I'm saving X number of dollars. You know, Khomeini helped me realize that I am on track for retirement. You know, I'm saving the right amount of money. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And so I don't have to worry about it in the same way of not knowing and not understanding my numbers. And so it's a big benefit just so far as having peace of mind.
Yeah, you don't want to have to worry. Reverend Ike said, money is not the root of all evil. The lack of money is the root of all evil. So something about this having peace of mind. And then, and I'll take this one because it's important. The one thing we can count on is change.
That's right.
Talk about that.
Just like when they say, when life starts lifing, you know, what do we do?
Yeah.
And so having a financial plan, and one of the benefits of working with a financial planner is the ability to be adaptable and be able to say weather the storm, because we all know things happen and, you know, changes happen. And so we want to be able to weather those storms. So everything from, you know, marriage to having children, career changes, divorce, you know, having a plan and working with a financial planner is a huge benefit because it can help you weather those storms, those unknowns. You know, you've done all your planning and then, you know, you get this curveball. Well, what do we do now? Maybe we have to start all over. Maybe we have to rebuild. But if you have a plan and you're working with someone who can advise you along the way, you're in a much better position to be able to weather that storm than doing it on your own.
Got to have a plan. Who benefits from a financial plan?
So a lot of people can benefit from financial planning. Everybody from individuals, you know, you think about like young professionals just starting out in their career, you know, they want to start saving for retirement and setting up plans, you know, retirees, you know, who want to make sure that they have the right amount of income coming in and, you know, can manage healthcare and all their expenses, you know, they're ideal for financial planning. You know, if you have, or, you know, if you've established and you've already have your savings and investments and you've been doing well, you can still benefit from financial planning because we're going to help you do everything from estate planning and making sure that, you know, your estate and legacy is taken care of. And we're also going to help you with tax efficiency, making sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. You know, you think about couples and families, you know, we're going to help you come together to have shared financial goals and be able to plan around those shared financial goals, which is not the easiest thing to do. I've had some very interesting conversations. You know, a lot of times when couples get together, you may have a saver and a spender. And so kind of putting those two things together and figuring out how to do it, we help you do that. And so business owners, you know, working with small business owners and helping you figure out, you know, how to manage that cash flow and setting up tax efficient plans. You know, we work with business owners. So a lot of people can benefit from financial planning, but obviously it takes the first step in you reaching out.
Indeed. Man, this time goes so fast. What are you doing next week?
So next week we are talking about retirement, speaking of, and so how to get prepared. What are all the aspects and important things you need to consider when it comes to retirement? We're going to dive in and make sure that you are prepared and know what you need to know for retirement.
You can't start too early to plan for retirement. You simply cannot. And for me, my son is my retirement plan. So
there you go. That's one plan. That's one plan.
That's one I really count on.
There you go.
Look, folks, a lot of good information. The man knows what he's talking about. If you need to reach Khomeini, you can call him or text him 630-575-5046, 630-575-5046. You can also go to the website. It's WVONwealthshow.com, WVONwealthshow.com. Fill out a contact card or complete the Discovery Financial Survey. Get started today. Khomeini.
Yeah, I just want to thank you again. You know, thank the listeners for listening in. You know, certainly appreciate it. You know, encourage your friends, family to listen in to the show. We're sharing great information, great advice. And I want to thank you again, Rufus, for the opportunity to have these important conversations every week.
It's always looking forward to learning something together. That's what we do in every segment. And this is a really important one. Equitable Advisors, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC, a broker-dealer. Equitable Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Khomeini Khan, thank you as always for coming in and sharing some information with us.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
all
it.
right. We're going to leave it right there for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you all tonight when we do our election review along with Cleopatra and David Seaton. Annette, always appreciate you. Thank you for doing everything. And I'll see you tonight as well as you manage us through all these things. And Titus, thanks for keeping all these things together. I thought we were going to play some of our recorded items today. One day we'll get to them. We got a lot of stuff to share with people. We just don't have time to do it, but we'll find it. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask you, as I always do, as you go through the course of the day, you will come across people who are dealing with things that you know absolutely nothing about. So please be kind, always. And with that, Annette, tell us what's in the headlines, and T-Dub, take us home.
Bone cold temps in the teens on this Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. I'm in Illinois, and the headlines is primary election day in Illinois. And here at WVON, we'll be tracking all the hottest races. So be sure to keep it locked all day long to WVON 1690 AM for wall-to-wall live team coverage. National news from the Black Information Network is next on the iHeart